SoFi up 4% yesterday. Now may be the best time in human history to get back into the stock. It may be on a course straight to $75 a share, right? They're talking about getting into the S&P 500. SoFi is all over the place. If you aren't already trading SoFi, you're probably not making all the Benjamins that you possibly could. You're probably not making all the gold bars that you possibly could, because SoFi is the greatest stock of all time. Says a lot of people, not me. Let's objectively take a look at SoFi. Like, as a professional investor, how about we take a professional look at SoFi? What's going on here? Well, first thing we'll notice here is that it's trending down. Okay. The 10 is under the 20, price is under the 50. So I know the SoFi bros are very emotionally involved in this stock, but sometimes you got to take a step back and you say, maybe this isn't the best time to be in this stock, because it reminds me of what is called the market cycle. Now, trust me, bro, the market cycle actually does exist. Let's talk about what that is real quick, because SoFi's already gone through it a couple times. And I don't want this to happen to you. I don't want this to happen to you, because a lot of you are getting super emotionally involved in SoFi without taking a good hard look at what is actually going on. So this is the market cycle. You've got your stage 1 over here, consolidation. Stage 2, big, beautiful run up. Stage 3 is when the moving averages are crossing down. And then stage 4 is the big, nasty, scary downtrend. Okay, this is what it looks like. Now, let's look at this. You got your stage 1 right here, your stage 2, your stage 3. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's going to crash, but what I am saying is it is in a bearish trend. And also, I want to talk about what's called the 50-80 rule. The 50-80 rule means that 50% of the time when you see a big high-flying stock like this, when SoFi from last year, it can go down by 80%. The 50-80 rule, a big high-flying stock, 50% of the time will go down by 80%. And 80% of the time, it will go down by 50%. That's the 50-80 rule. What's this right here? SoFi went down 50%. Holy moly. That actually played out. The 50-80 rule in place actually played out, and you can even see the market cycle at that spot. Your stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, it did bottom and it did go up higher, but the thing is that you can buy stocks as they're crashing up rather than holding them as they're crashing down. And you can use the outlier trend template, the 10 EMA over the 20 EMA with price over the 50 EMA, to see where it's going. And right now, those moving averages are actually crushed bearishly. Now, let's take this a step further. Let's look objectively using the outlier software to see what's going on over here. First, 40% of the move of any stock is due to the market, 30% due to the sector, and 30% due to the stock itself. The market has a bullish trend. It is a fact. The SPY is still in a bullish trend. However, it's looking rough. It's looking real rough. The 10 is under the 20. I'm sorry, the 10 is still slightly above the 20. Price is above the 50. So right now, this is still technically a bullish trend. Will it continue? I don't know. I don't have to know. We just got to go with the trends. Next, the signal. The SPY, the market, actually has a sell signal in place. That's not so good. And then breadth on the market has crossed negative, meaning we're getting more and more sell signals, less and less buy signals. This is how a professional investor goes through his opportunities here, okay? Stop trying to be so emotional and actually look objectively, because I'm giving you all the tools and resources you need to be successful in SoFi, yet you still want to hold on to it because you think it's the greatest stock ever, okay? Now, let's look at the sector. The sector is getting more and more greedy, but SoFi has not been. Look at this divergence here. The sector getting way more greedy, where SoFi was getting more and more fearful with a sell signal. That's not so good for SoFi. The breadth of the sector, however, has crossed down, so we're getting more sell signals than buy signals. Okay. Now let's go from the market to the sector to the stock. The trend is down. The signal is a sell. Fear and greed is slightly up above from what it was yesterday, but still going the opposite direction compared to the sector. And then one thing you do have is that you've got some room up to an outlier block. Now, what we call outlier blocks are support and resistance areas on the chart. Now, what is an outlier block? This is an area of trapped buyers that happened right here in November 2021. And you can't tell me that this is random. You cannot, under any circumstance, tell me that this random spot in the chart that was developed in 2021 that absolutely was the very top before this 53% correction. You can't tell me that spot's random. Those are trapped buyers who sold at the very first chance they got. Now, you look over here, those sellers were overwhelmed by buyers. So that's what an outlier block is there to do. And you've got about 9% move up to this one. So SoFi, that's off my radar. I wouldn't be trading SoFi even with your money. But what we are going to do today is answer as many questions as possible, rapid fire style, in this Ask Me Anything Friday. So Kostya, one of our Bravo students, Kostya Outlier says, 2 ATR stop from the initial buy. Why isn't that raised after each roll? Because in our backtesting, it was backtested with just the stock. Now, what does he mean by this? In our backtesting, these came to be the best expectancy on the plan. Now, unlike every other YouTuber, we actually have a backtested, proven plan that we can execute in the market using the outlier buy and sell signals with the market data on top of this. We actually have a plan versus just trust me, bro, $75 is one stock, you'll be a millionaire. I got the Wall Street protocol. It's better. It's so much better than the last course I sold you for $10,000. No, every single one of these trades that I take is on YouTube for free. You can see it. Every single trade I've made for years is here on YouTube. My compound annual growth rate is over 44%. I'm going to end 2025 roughly around 40% gain in my account. I'm entering into the US Investing Championship using this data, and we even have the data by sector. And I expect to dominate and win the US Investing Championship next year, proving math actually works in the market. So to Kostya's question here, why don't we roll up the exits if we're already rolling up our positions? The honest, total, complete answer is here is that we didn't backtest on options, we backtested on stock. And then you apply that to options. When you use deep in the money calls, you can have incredible leverage. That is the whole point of it. Now, can you raise it? Absolutely. But the backtesting was found with these exit points. Outlier sell signal, the 10-20 bearish cross. This is your trailing stop. This goes up with you. An outlier block that's at least 120 days old, running into earnings, a gap and crap up of 5% or more. And then these two are your stop losses. So the answer to that is we backtested everything on stock. And options with our ninja hacks of rolling allow us to take partial profits, keep the trade on, and make incredible moves. So, Morgie, yesterday's university was great. Any chance we can make a regular thing of sharing our strategies and backtests? You know, I really appreciate that. We've gotten a lot of really, really good feedback about what's going on this week in Outlier University, because the whole point of Outlier University is helping people just like you become successful for $0. Zero free $99. I don't want you to be a derpy joker. I want you to be a successful trader. Now, the way that you get to Outlier University is you go onto the playlist on this YouTube channel that you're watching this from, and you will see Outlier University right there. And in Outlier University, I don't want you to follow my plan. That sounds crazy. I even gave you the backtesting results just a moment ago. I don't want you to follow my plan, because if you can't follow my plan, you won't be successful. You've got to come up with your own plan. And so that was the point of the back test is, hey, I'm going to show you what it takes to be successful. I'm going to give you the recipe, but you have to make the recipe fit what you like. Like Shane yesterday, one of our Outlier University students who's actually in class was showing how he uses trend lines. You couldn't get me to use trend lines, but that's okay. Shane is doing incredible things because it works for him. If you don't like your strategy, you won't trade it, right? The example that I gave was like, what is your least favorite restaurant? Imagine your significant other was like, hey, let's go eat at Jimbo's Diner. And you're like, man, I hate Jimbo's Diner. I'll just sit there and drink water. That's my plan. Or I'll get a Coke Zero. I'm not eating anything at Jimbo's Diner. That is not how I want you to be with trading. I want you to look at your trading plan as if it's the greatest thing that you have ever come up with and you love it. Because once you love it, then you will execute it. KS Bet, the fund manager, says, when you have a chance on slide 23 of plan M, okay, hold tight, you actually can get all of the PowerPoint. By the way, do you ever see any other YouTuber give away as much as we do? Right? We give away everything possible except for obviously the outlier buy and sell signals, which are 82 cents a day. We give away everything possible because we want you to be successful. So here is my entire PowerPoint, 100% for free. You go into Discord and you go over to the FAQ member contributions and you go to the outlier trading plans right there. And there it is. So he's asking about slide 23 right here. Okay. Can you briefly cover what M1 and S2 mean and how to apply them? Absolutely. This is easier than you think. So when you go into the breadth page of Outlier, you'll see this section down here. Now, you'll notice there's lots of gray bars, then there's the occasional green and red bar. What this is measuring is how many uptrends or downtrends are happening in this particular sector. In this case, this is all the stocks we cover. We can see right here, when it lights up green, we're getting more uptrends. When it lights up red, we're getting less downtrends. And the opposite's true when it's gray. We're getting less downtrends, less uptrends, more downtrends. Now, the goal here is to get in when the market is looking very bigly beautiful. So M1 is for the market. So on this date right here, this would be a score of M2 because you got both more uptrends and less downtrends. That's a score of M2. In that case, doesn't matter what the sectors do. It doesn't matter at all what the sectors do. Now, where do we come up with this? We backtested it. We proved with math that this is conclusively the highest expectancy. Or if there's only one on a certain day, like here, we had more uptrends, but the same amount or maybe even potentially more downtrends. That gives you a score of M1. And then you take it one step further and you go, okay, if I have a score of 1 on the market, what about the sectors? And you can just glance over here and you can see the materials have a score of 1. Cool. All right. So M1, S1 means a market 1, sector 1. If you were trading on that date, you could say, okay, I'm only going to focus in on the material sector. Now you can have negatives like you see over here. Financials, that's going to have a -2. Today on the market, it has a -2. That's the score that we're looking for right there. I hope that helps, my friend. Justin, what's going on, dude? I've really enjoyed the backtesting sessions at Outlier University. Thanks for doing that. You're welcome. If we want to perform backtesting, where is the best place to get data or backtesting software? So that's a great question. I used in the past a service called TrendSpider. I still have access to it. TrendSpider is really, really, really sick because it will show you any strategy you want. You just type it in for your entries, type it in for your exits, hit go, and it goes. Now, it's like TradingView, except it has that backtesting feature built in, and it's a lot more expensive. Like, it's really crazy expensive. When you're in Outlier, you can actually go up here to the performance summary, click this button, and it'll show you the outlier and the buy and hold signal returns. Now, SoFi, unfortunately, is not an outperforming stock, but there are tons of stocks that are very well outperforming using the outlier buy and sell signal. So an instant backtest right there. So that's a great question. I would definitely ask in the chat where you guys do your backtesting. Scott, our quant, actually built a whole Python software that did all of the work for us. And so we would just throw different variables at it and then see what it spit out. And it made it really easy. Now, granted, I couldn't tell you the first thing about how to do a Python, but I'm sure that there's great YouTube tutorials out there. Theo says, Chris, where do you get all the courage to start again after blowing up your account twice? Okay, this is a brilliant question. So I've mentioned this before, but I've made $4 in the market so far. But that wasn't how things went the whole time. I actually blew up my account twice. I lost over $200,000 selling options, thinking it was brilliant. But one thing that I felt, and I mentioned this just the other day, is that I have such a passion for trading. Like, Theo, I'm sure you've got a passion for something. I don't know. Let me see. It looks like maybe that's a dirt bike on your avatar. Maybe your passion's for dirt biking, right? How many times did you crash out on your dirt bike and you're like, I'll get back up? Probably a lot. Probably a lot. Maybe even you found yourself in the hospital, right? Maybe. Oh, I heard about this story when I was a kid. Where I live, my parents have a lot of people with land around them, and they ride dirt bikes and ATVs and all kinds of stuff. And this one girl crashed on her ATV so hard that the handlebar pierced her stomach. Oh, she was impaled on the handlebar. She survived and everything, but I'm like, whoa. And yeah, I'm probably pretty sure that she went back out and did her thing on that. Why? Because she had a passion for it, right? For me, like I've mentioned this the other day, like my goal here was either find out how to be successful or die. One of the two is going to happen first. I will work as hard as I can to be successful in the market because I love the game. And the weird thing about it is I love the game more than the money. If I didn't love the game more than the money, I would not keep going. It's just a fact. I lost lots of money, but because I loved the game, I knew that I could continue playing. And honestly, that's probably the best answer is love the game more than the money. And then the money takes care of itself. Trader Mo says, could you review planned exit points? Yeah, we just did that. So PEP is planned exit points. So on plan M, it's an outlier sell signal, 1020 bearish cross on the daily charts, 120 calendar day outlier block being hit. By the way, tell me outlier blocks don't work. Let's go to, what was it the other day? H-ban. We got out of this dude right as it hit this random spot on the chart that there's no possible way that outlier blocks work. And I don't know why anybody would ever doubt this because we show it over and over and over. This area on the chart built in 2007. Calculators have still not figured out how to get from 2007 to 2025. Okay. We're looking at this. And the very first time, years go by, right? Years go by. The very first time it gets even close to this, it is a 34% sell-off. Years go by again. The very first time it gets close to it again, a 35% sell-off. And again, I'm screwing that up. And again. The point here that I'm trying to make is it absolutely works. Absolutely works. So outlier blocks are areas on the charts. I showed you how to get it for 100% for free that work. And you can look at H-ban and tell me how they don't work when Chris closed it within 10 cents of this outlier block and then it sold off. Now, counter argument, Ally. I got out of Ally as it went up into this order block right here. This was the day that I got out. Now, it's chewed through it, and it's still struggling to get through this area, and it's actually developed another order block right at this spot right here because there are sellers who want to sell at that level. They've been trapped for years, and they finally can get out at break even. What do you think they're going to do? You've probably been that investor. Think of it logically. If you've been holding on to a stock for years, and you finally get to break even, what are you going to do? You're going to sell it as fast as humanly possible. It is human psychology at work played out on the charts. That's why it works. Mr. Maxis says, for anyone here, does anyone use interactive brokers and TradingView combo for options? Great question. I don't, but you know what? Somebody here in chat may be able to help out with that. Razzie says, what was your first risk percent and how did you scale up? Do you recommend any differences per account size value? So loaded question here, I would say. If you have less than $20,000 in your account, it's really difficult to position size correctly. What do I mean by that? If you have $5,000 in your account and you take one contract on 5 different positions, those are going to have exceptionally different risk for each one contract that you take on. But once you get to around $20,000, you can actually slot it in and say, okay, this one takes 1, this one takes 4, this one takes 6, this one takes 2. And you can get a lot closer and greater than that, you're fine, to what the approximate position risk that you're willing to take. Now, what was my first risk percent? Everything. Everything was my first risk percent. I will never forget in the 2016 election, going to church, getting down on my knees and praying to dear Lord baby Jesus, please don't let my account blow up. You know what happened? It blew up. Sometimes the best responses to prayers are not to be answered. What's the Garth Brooks song? Some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. I totally agree with that. Sometimes you need to take one step back to take 100 steps forward. That's kind of a motto that I've taken this year. I took one step back when it came to YouTube, and now we're 100 steps forward. I took one step back in my trading account this summer while we had a losing streak and we worked on everything. And now we're taking 100 steps forward, right? Sometimes you need to take one step back to take 100 steps forward. How many of those 16 trading years were profitable? I don't know, like 2 or 3, but it's been the most recent 2 or 3. I don't know. I didn't keep track. Let me rephrase that. I kept track, but I don't remember off the top of my head. What I do remember is starting to work with Mark and Mahesh, the co-founders of Outlier, in 2021. And since then, my results were 172% in 2021, negative 20% in 2022. And every time I say that, people always say, what happened in 2022? Oh my God, you had a negative year? Hold tight, relax, cool your jets. 172% 2021, negative 20% in 2022, positive 5% in 2023, positive 92% in 2024. And this year, I'm going to end roughly around 40%. That compound annual growth rate, which is what matters, is 44 point something percent. So over the course of 5 years, my account has grown on average 44% per year. That's the number you're looking for. Now, you're not going to get 172% every year. You're not going to get 92% every year. You're not going to get 40% every year. You're not going to get 5% every year. And hopefully, you're not going to get negative 20% every year. But there are times where, with the distribution of wins and losses that come through, that you end up on a losing trade. I'll tell you right out, my parents are pretty disappointed with how their trading results have been. And they hear Chris talk about how he's up 40% and their account is down. I started managing their money this summer. Their account's down. And trust me, my mom reminds me every time I see her, hey, what's my account balance? And I'm like, listen, I get it. It was unfortunate because it was literally just in the sequence of wins and losses that I started trading their account on the sequence of losses. Nothing you can do about that. You will have wins, you will have losses. And for them, their account's going to be negative on the year. Where me, the exact same trades, starting in the summer, I'm going to end up positive for the year. How does that happen? It literally is the sequence of wins and losses, how they slot into your portfolio. And sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. So what happened that year? That. Is it better to roll one strike at a time or the lowest strike possible to get the most credit? That's a great question. So when we talk about rolling, right, we have rolled, let's go to LC. We have to close that one today. So let's talk about that one. LC, I've rolled 3 times. One, the original trade, 1, 2, 3 rolls after that point. Now, on those, I went from the 16 to the 17 to the 18 to the 19. You don't have to go one strike at a time. Nothing's stopping you from doing more. What I'm looking for is liquidity. I want to make sure I can get out of the position if I'm getting into it. And I'm looking for extrinsic value. Sometimes you can do $2.5, maybe even $5 jumps, depending on the size of the stock, but it doesn't necessarily have to be one strike at a time. And it doesn't necessarily have to be for the right credit or for a certain amount of credit. You're looking for specifically trying to get liquidity, have enough liquidity to get in and out, and also not overpaying on your extrinsic value, which will go down over time. Good luck having Felix explain that to you. Bro doesn't trade, or at least that's Chris's opinion. Bro doesn't trade. If I opened a stock's position based on the full Outlier 9, but the SPX subsequently flashed a sell signal, should I close the trade? Giancarlo, you're not going to like this answer. What was your plan? One of the things that I'm very adamant about is I'm not going to tell you what to do. What I am going to tell you to do is come up with a plan. Once you have that plan, follow that plan until you've come up with a better plan. And that better plan better be based on data. It better not be trust me, bros. It better not be hunches, and it better not be gut feelings. Okay? So to your point here, I can't tell you what to do. Sorry. But I'll put it to you this way. The SPY has a sell signal, and I'm still holding my accounts because they have not my accounts, but my 3 trades that I've had on for a while, because I don't have an exit signal on those trades. It's the truth. I'd love to tell you more, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. Chris made me sell the SoFi shares. Batteries are included. Dude, what a plus. I previously asked this before, and you said you would answer, but you didn't have time. When have you broken your exit rules and why? I would love to answer, but I don't have time. Steve, what time do you get up on Christmas Day? And are you first? Of course I'm first. I never sleep. Batman never sleeps. How excited are you for the 2026 Investment Championship? I am all the excited. I can't tell you how excited I am. I am super duper ultra excited because like all I have to do is follow my plan, and Chris is going to be a champion. Oh, this is going to be such a big deal. This is going to be such a big deal. Have we ever tested any other indexes for plan ETF? I will tell you, that is a great question, a fantastic idea. And we absolutely have a plan. Okay, secret plan. I'm not supposed to tell anybody here. Getting close. Don't mention this to anybody. One thing Mahesh wants to do is he wants to make like a bare bones plan where it's only a handful of stocks in ETFs, and then build a strategy around just those ones, right? So imagine that you are an investor who doesn't want to look at 5,000 stocks. You only want to look at like 10. Then if the plan lights up for those 10, you're good to go. But listen, this is coming sometime in 2026. One thing we're doing as well. Don't tell Mahesh I told you this. Here, I'm getting really close. Don't tell Mahesh I told you this. But we are actually going to have what's called a strategy library inside of Outlier. It's going to be so fucking sick. All you got to do is click one button and it'll light up Plan M trades, Plan A trades, Plan ETF trades, new plan trades, Plan Q. I think Plan Q. Yeah, Plan Q. For one of our Discord members, Plan Q. It's going to be amazing. Oh man. Okay. Don't tell anybody I said that though. Don't tell anybody I said that. What are your account values since the December 1st trades? Let's do this. Let's pop over into Tradier. Let's go to account view. Let's go to account history, cost base. There you go. That's what's happened in the last month. I don't know. Seems okay to me in this particular account being up $14,000. But what do I know? I got the Wall Street Protocol. I got the Wall Street Protocol. It's the best protocol course ever, and it's so much better than every course ever in the history of time. So I know you paid me $10,000 last quarter, but you should pay me $10,000 more this quarter for the Wall Street Protocol. Shut up. This is what actual traders do. There's no point in selling a dream when you actually can sell results. How's that sound? Outlier's 82 cents a day. Are there back testing tools in Outlier? Other than just hitting the show performance history, that's the only back testing tool we have right now. However, there is one in process. This is gonna be really cool. Elsie has a sell signal. Are you out this morning, end of day? Everything I do is at the end of the day. Everything I do is at the end of the day. Hey, Chris, I wanted to ask you if you were trading shares instead of options, would you change anything in your trading plan that works? What's really cool about this is that it is built on everything in this is built on trading the shares, right? All of this is built on trading the shares. However, I love to trade options because of A, the capital efficiency, and B, the fact that I get the huge leverage involved and I can make way more Masters of the Universe money than I would with just the shares. So everything that we do can be applied to the shares, but you get greater capital efficiency and you can do all kinds of amazing stuff by using the deep in the money calls, right? I learned that from a $1 billion hedge fund manager. How do you think he got to $1 billion? Oh. Do we buy SGov back today? I am buying SGov back today. You do you, my friend. You ever play the this is the greatest game of all time. Do you ever play the New York Stock Exchange game on Outlier? It's goated. Yeah, I love that game. That game is my favorite. It's way better than Assassin's Creed. What can Santa bring me for just 82 cents a day? How about generational wealth? Or at least what it would take to get to that point. You have to actually make that process. You have to do that yourself. How do you identify a strong trend from a weak trend? Okay, cool. So here's the thing. And I want to go to Tesla. And I want to go back over here. I love using this example. Now, funny story. I thought this wasn't that big of a win. It's actually like a 30% win. This is a break even, and this is like 130%. But hear me out. When we're looking at trends, you'll notice here, here, and here, the exact same thing happens. The 10 went over the 20, price went over the 50. In all three instances, this happened. Okay. All three instances have very different outcomes, right? This was, quote, small win. This was break even. And this was enormous win. Okay. How do you identify if a trend is strong? Well, you don't at the time, right? Like right here, and right here, you don't really know at the time if it's going to be a strong trend or weak trend. It's got to develop, right? Until we get the Nancy Pelosi plan inside of TradingView, surely they'll upgrade at some point. We don't know where it's going to go. How do you know if it's going bigly? Is looking at the spread of the moving averages, right? Look at the spread here to here versus the non-existent spread right there versus the spread right here, right? Do you see the differences there? Right? When it's spread further apart, that's a big, beautiful amazing trend. But each one of them starts in the same way, and we just don't know where it's going to go. Let's see. So MJ Carney, Mr. Carney asks, advise on timing of getting out of a position when the sell signal comes. I trade at the end of the day. I don't trade any other time unless I have a reason to trade earlier in the day. Like today, I have a conflict at 2 o'clock Central Time, so I'll probably trade sometime in the 1 o'clock hour. That's it. And why? Why? Because when we look at the data, right? No trust me, bros. No trust me, bros. When we look at the data, right? All of this is based on close of day signal. I couldn't tell you of the 375 trades taken in the communication sector on number 317, what the price was at 11:17 a.m. on that day, or 9:34 a.m. on that day, or 1:21 p.m. on that day. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that is where we can get the close price, right? That's what builds the candles. Because who knows what the price was at 9:14 on July 3rd, 2024. Could you look it up? Yeah, but you don't need to. So for me, I only trade at the end of the day, and also for lifestyle design, right? You don't have to be stuck in front of a screen all day. Lifestyle design's real. If a trading plan doesn't fit your lifestyle, it's not a good plan. Updating his plan and not sure if I should immediately sell or wait till the end of the day. Well, I would say that's completely up to you and your lifestyle. If you feel like, the best time of day to sell out is the first thing in the morning, do it. If you feel like, what, I want to let the candles play out. The backtesting data is based on the close of the candles. Plus, then I don't have to stress about it all day. I'll go at the end of the day. There you go. We already answered that question. No trading on me says, how should we approach trading the holiday break without our live stream mentor available? So here's the thing. As much as I am excited that you guys are following along with my trades, you got to come up with your own plan. I really stress that on purpose, right? And here's the thing. My long-term plan is to disappear. Okay. I'm going to be the dancing monkey for Outlier for a couple of years, and then I'm going to disappear, and I'm going to trade the Outlier hedge fund. You're never going to see me again. It's just a fact. So we got to get you to a point where you know what you're doing. Okay. So that's why we're working as hard as we are developing your own trading plans. But my plan is to disappear. So I'm going to disappear on you for a couple of weeks. Now, I will still put my trades out on Discord. Whatever trades there's going to be, right? We got to close LC today. The other two, HTGC and SYF, I don't know when I'm going to close those. But I'll let you know on the Discord. Could you do a quick walkthrough on how to search for and set up a trade for someone around $1,000? I can't do a quick walkthrough, right? Here's what I would recommend. In this case, I would go over to the Outlier University playlist, go to town on it, right? And in fact, if you really want to get into that, I would go into our Discord. I would go into the live stream links and the Outlier trading room. Trying to reorder channels? No, I don't want to reorder channels. I just want to go, no, stop it. I just wanted to see the channel. Stop. There. Okay, there we go. I would start here and see, okay, Chris entered a trade on, what is this called? December 5th. I rolled NOG from the 23-24 strike. Then I would go to live stream links. And I would go, okay, where's December 5th is right here. Outlier Trading Room Friday. There you go. That's Chris going through it completely top to finish, top to bottom. Start to finish, top to bottom. We do that for transparency's sake. It's one thing to say, I'm such a great trader on YouTube. It's another thing to have every trade in the history that I've made on YouTube here live for free. And then there's the link to get it. But no, I don't have time to go through that. Where's the Outlier 9 of 9 button? It's coming. It's not available just yet. Let me do a couple more questions real quick. So here's a really good question. Brian, when you roll, do you normally roll back to the 80 delta? Yeah. So I like to start at the 80, but sometimes, it goes up to 90. Sometimes it goes down to 70. But the ballpark where I start is 80. Now, if a trade's working, right? Let's go to a couple trades that are working. Let's go to LC. LC's been on such a big, beautiful run and was up like 7% yesterday, right? So here we ran up and I rolled all the way up 3 different times. Each time I rolled, it was working. Okay. I didn't roll down here. I rolled as it's going up. Now, when you're rolling as it's going up, your delta is going from 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, and maybe it's somewhere between 85 and 90. You're rolling back down to the 80. When you roll back down to the 80, you can do a couple things. First, you take partial profits off the table. Those profits are yours. You can go to Costco with it. You can go put on new trades with it. Those are your partial profits that nobody can ever take from you. You're reducing risk in the trade. So in this case, I started with $2.73 of risk and 273. And then I took in a credit of 75 cents. That was 0.75. Then I took in another credit of 75 cents. And then I took another credit of 75 cents. And that was coincidental each time. I did not plan on it to be like that. I can't tell you the last time I've ever had 3 rolls for the exact same credit each time. So now my risk in the trade is 48 cents. So the worst thing that can happen is this option going to 0. And I lose 48 cents instead of $2.73. So divided by 273, which means I've taken off minus 1, 82%. 82% of the risk in this trade is gone. I no longer have risk in this trade by a factor of 82%. Pretty sick, right? And I get to keep the trade on because I'm still back at the 80 delta. There you go. Mofo, I'm thinking of switching to Trader Pro. I would highly recommend switching to Trader Pro. In fact, Trader Pro has a deal with Outlier. And if you sign up using this link, they're actually going to put Go to the link for all the details. They'll put $150 in your account to trade with for free for signing up using the Outlier sign up link. Really, really cool. We have a good partnership with Trader going on. Are there any exchange fees on options trading with them? Of course, exchange fees you can't get around. Exchange fees are exchange fees. That is an impossibility to get around. You know what else is impossible? Being a successful trader without putting in the work. A lot of people are going to say, you can shortcut this. You can shortcut this game and get straight to winning right away. The truth is not, right? That's why we've built Outlier University. That's why we give away as much free content as we can every single day. The point here is to make you successful. When you see how to be successful and you see how Outlier helps you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, it makes it a no-brainer to pick up the Outlier annual pass for 82 cents a day. Or give it to somebody as a gift. Give it to them for 82 cents a day. Let them be successful. Now listen, 2026 is coming up. I want you to be successful. I will be competing in the US Investing Championship, and you can watch every single trade that I do live for free here on YouTube. What's going to happen? I don't know. And that's the great thing about being a trader, is embracing the uncertainty. The more uncertainty you embrace, the more likely you are to achieve the expectancy that you've built your plan around. So for me, I'm super stoked. I don't know what's going to happen next year, but I do know one thing. I'm going to follow my plan with consistency and discipline. I'm going to be rigid in my plan and flexible in the outcome. And I'm really stoked because I'm going to take you guys along on such a fun ride for 2026. And in fact, I think I'll probably just compete forever. Why not? If I love the game so much, why not? So that's what makes us different here on Outlier, is that we put our money where our mouth is. We're competing in the US Investing Championship to prove that Outlier works. So it's up to you. It's also up to you to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk by clicking one of these 2 videos. We will talk soon.